Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. I have to sit here with you for a while and talk about this. My heart feels heavy today, and I know many of you who have watched General Hospital for years are feeling the same way. Yesterday brought some very sad news. Rif Hutton, the actor who played David Ward back in 1995 and returned as Lenny in 2021, passed away on Saturday, April 18 at the age of 73. He left us at his home in Pasadena after fighting glioblastoma, that difficult brain cancer, for a whole year. When I first read the news, I just sat quietly for a long time. It felt like losing someone I had known for a long time, even though we never met. These daytime shows have been part of my life for so many decades. The faces come and go, but some of them stay with you. Riff was one of those steady presences. He wasn't always the center of the big dramatic storylines, but whenever he appeared on screen, he brought a quiet strength that made the scenes feel real. Seeing David Ward in 1995 and then watching Lenny return years later gave me a strange, comforting feeling, like the show was remembering its own history. Now that he's gone, those moments feel even more precious and a little bit sadder. What made the day even harder was learning that Patrick Muldoon from Days of Our Lives had passed away on the very same day. Two familiar voices from the world of soap operas leaving us at once. It reminded me how fragile life can be, especially for the actors who have given us so many years of their time and talent. Many of them are getting older now, and each time we lose one, it feels like a piece of the show's heart is missing. Rif Hutton was born on the 28th of November, 1952, in San Antonio, Texas. He grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, and over the years, he built a long, quiet career on American television. A lot of us remember him as Dr. Ron Welch on Doogie Howser, MD, from 1990 to 1993. He played that doctor with such calm kindness that you trusted him immediately. Later, he appeared as Lieutenant Alan Matoni on JAG, and he showed up in many other shows too. Then there were those KFC commercials in the 1990s where he played Russ Beeler, the boss. He had a friendly, everyday way about him that made those short ads feel warm and familiar. Every time one came on, I would smile a little and think how nice it was to see his face again. His family shared the news with TMZ, and one of his close friends, Steve Apostolina, who worked with him for years doing voiceover work, posted a heartfelt message on Facebook. He wrote that Riff was truly one of a kind. He said it wasn't enough to call him unique because he was so much more than that. Steve remembered how Riff was always the most prepared person in the room and how he would arrive earlier than anyone else for every job. That kind of dedication stayed with everyone who knew him. It made me think about the kind of man he must have been, someone who respected his work and the people around him, even when the cameras weren't rolling. When the news spread through the soap opera community, you could feel the sadness among his fellow actors. Many of the performers on General Hospital have been together for a very long time. They've shared so many storylines, celebrated birthdays, supported each other through tough times, and grown older on screen and off. Riff was part of that older generation that brought real-life experience and quiet dignity to their roles. They taught the younger actors by example, showing them what it means to show up, do the work, and leave something honest behind. Losing someone like that leaves a quiet emptiness. It's hard not to feel a deep sense of loss when these actors leave us. We invite them into our homes day after day, year after year. We watch them fall in love, face heartbreak, fight illnesses, and celebrate small victories right alongside our own lives. Over time, they become like distant family members. When one of them passes, it hurts in a way that's hard to explain to people who don't watch these shows. Riff may not have had the flashiest roles, but he gave us something steady and true. His performances added depth and warmth to the world of Port Charles, and now those scenes will carry a different kind of meaning. I keep thinking about the year he spent fighting his illness. A whole year is a long time to carry something so heavy. I hope he felt surrounded by love from his family and friends during that time. I hope he knew how many people appreciated the work he did and the way he carried himself. It's never easy to say goodbye, especially when someone has been part of our daily routine for so long. Today, the house feels a little quieter. I turned on an old episode of General Hospital just to see Lenny again, and my eyes got misty. It's strange how a television show can become woven into the fabric of our days. The stories keep going, new characters come in, but the ones who were there before leave behind memories that don't fade easily. Rif Hutton gave us many of those memories, small moments that added up to something meaningful. I'm sitting here with a heavy heart, remembering him and feeling grateful at the same time. Grateful for the years he spent entertaining us, for the professionalism he showed, and for the quiet way he made his mark on so many lives. These actors get older just like we do, and eventually they have to leave the stage, but the work they did stays with us. Every time I see one of his old scenes, I'll think of him with fondness and a touch of sadness. Life has its seasons, and this one feels particularly bittersweet. So I'm taking a little extra time today to sit with these feelings, to remember Rif Hutton, and to say a quiet thank you for all the afternoons he helped fill with stories. He will be missed by so many of us who have followed General Hospital through the years. I have to tell you, this part of the story has been weighing on my heart even more since I learned it. Rif Hutton didn't just walk into Hollywood with everything handed to him. No, his journey was long, tough, and full of real hardship. That makes losing him feel even sadder, because when you know how hard someone worked to build their life, it hits deeper. He was born in San Antonio, Texas, and grew up in East Orange, New Jersey. But his real dream pulled him all the way to Los Angeles sometime in the mid-1970s. Like so many young people back then who wanted to act, he arrived with hope in his heart and not much else in his pockets. Those early years were really rough. He went to countless auditions, day after day, hearing no more times than anyone should have to hear. Money was tight. Sometimes there was none at all. There were periods when he had nowhere to sleep and had to rely on the kindness of friends just to have a couch or a floor to rest on. Can you imagine that? A man who would later appear on our television screens for decades once didn't even have a steady place to call home. But Riff never gave up. That quiet determination of his carried him through the hardest times. Little by little, the door started to open. He kept showing up, kept preparing, and kept believing. And over more than 40 years, that persistence paid off in a career that touched so many of us. From his early days on Doogie Howser, MD, as Dr. Ron Welch, to his roles on JAG, those familiar KFC commercials, and of course his appearances on General Hospital as David Ward, and later as Lenny, he built something lasting. What strikes me most when I think about his story is how he carried himself once he finally made it. Everywhere he worked, people remembered him for the same two things: how carefully he prepared for every single job, and how much kindness he brought to the set. In an industry that can be fast and sometimes cold, Riff was known for arriving early, knowing his lines inside and out, and treating everyone around him with respect. His friend Steve Apostolina said it best: Riff was always the most prepared person in the room. That kind of steady, old-fashioned work ethic stayed with him his whole career. Now that he's gone, I keep thinking about how much those early struggles must have shaped him. Living through homelessness and uncertainty in his young days and still managing to become someone so many people looked forward to seeing on screen, it speaks to a deep strength. He didn't let the hard times make him bitter. Instead, he turned them into fuel for a long, honest career. The soap opera family is feeling this loss quite deeply. Many of the actors on General Hospital have been around long enough to know what it takes to survive in this business. They've watched younger performers come and go, but Riff belonged to that older generation who remembered what it was like to fight for every opportunity. His passing reminds all of them and us that time is precious. The faces we've grown used to seeing for years won't be here forever. I feel a quiet sadness when I picture him now. A man who started with almost nothing, who slept on friends' couches, who kept going audition after audition until the breaks finally came. And when they did, he didn't forget where he came from. He stayed humble, stayed prepared, and stayed kind. That's the part that stays with me the most. His family, his longtime friends, and all the fans who grew up watching him on General Hospital and other shows are going to miss him terribly. There's an emptiness now in the world of daytime television that won't be filled the same way again. Every time an old episode airs and Lenny or David Ward appears, I know I'll pause for a moment and remember the man behind the character, the one who came from humble beginnings, endured real hardship, and still left behind more than 40 years of steady, heartfelt work. It makes me sit here a little longer today, thinking about how life can be both cruel and generous. Cruel for taking him too soon after a year of fighting such a tough illness, but generous for giving him the chance to turn those early struggles into a meaningful career that touched so many living rooms across the country, including mine. My heart is heavy with all of this. Rif Hutton's story isn't just about acting roles and television credits. It's about perseverance, about staying kind even when life was hard, and about showing up with dignity year after year. Today, I'm holding on to those parts of his journey with a deep sense of respect and sorrow. He will be remembered not only for the characters he played, but for the quiet strength and goodness he brought to every stage he stood on. If you're feeling this sadness too, I understand completely. These losses from the shows we've followed for so long leave a special kind of ache. Let's take a moment to remember him gently today.